The off season is in full swing. Probably one of the most exciting exciting parts of being a football fan: the transfers, transfer rumours, all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll be having a little whistle stop tour across the championship, and I've picked out a few clubs who I think have probably conducted the best business uh, for their teams across the division. We've had a look at Bristol City's sort of individual signings as they've come, and we've reviewed them, which can be found in the archives of the channel. Watch that after this video. And yeah, I've made a little shortlist of teams who I think have probably made the best signings in the division. Timing for this is important. This has been recorded on the 7th of July on Monday. Teams are still obviously going to be conducting transfer business right until the end of August, so there's close to another 2 months still left of this transfer window. So business will be done. A lot of teams still haven't really started, have been active in the transfer market for loads of really different reasons, and some teams who we probably expect to be really sort of strong in the transfer market with a lot of financial muscle haven't really been active either, notably the parachute teams and a couple of teams under embargoes and stuff like that. So a lot of nuances, but I think up to this date, which is, pre-season started for a lot of clubs, we're kind of, building up to the first game in just over a month's time. There will be a lot of sort of talk of what teams are best prepared and what teams have done the best business. So here's a little sort of deep dive into a few teams who I think have done the best business so far. A club I think who have not maybe had a lot of championship media coverage, but I think have done some really nice business in helping to propel, I think, a relatively decent squad and hopefully taking it to the next level is Swansea, who I think have made, I've noted 3 really interesting additions to their squad. And yeah, we'll have a nice little debrief into that. Zidane Inusa was someone who obviously I have no clue about, a forward from Sweden, signed from BK Häcken. I had a look at the transfer marked sort of relative price, sort of transfer fees paid for players. €6 million for a team that, not in receipt of parachute payments and not Birmingham or Wrexham. Might have a look at one of them later, potentially. But yeah, that's a lot of money for Zidane Inusa, unknown to English football. And yeah, Swansea have been doing this a lot more in recent years. Luke Williams, that experiment, but last summer they did this a lot more. Vipotnik, Ohm, Franco, Bianchini. There's a lot of players who came in to last summer with no real experience of English football. So nice to see them going down that route, something a little bit different. And there is value in the continent, and yeah, it looks like another exciting one. A lot of commitment, a lot of faith put into this young forward. So for Swansea's sake, let's hope he delivers, and it looks like he'll definitely be, for that money, and you'd hope he plays a lot of games. Ethan Galbraith is someone who I would have really liked at Bristol City myself, and I think would have been a brilliant signing for loads of championship clubs. So the fact that Swansea have been able to get him, I think, is a real sign of their intent and their real sign of they want to back Alan Sheehan and Galbraith. I think with the way Swansea have played over recent years, Williams' style of football, that transition to what Alan Sheehan will want, it won't be a hell of a lot different. So I think Galbraith will fit into that really nicely. And I think the football he played, he was subjected to at Leyton Orient under balance, relatively similar to what Swansea will try to be doing again. So I really like that signing, and I think it will be a successful one. Going to play wing back, playing central midfield, captain, I think, wasn't he, at Leyton Orient when Omar Beckles wasn't in. So will be, I think, a very good signing. Cameron Burgess is someone who I thought when he left Ipswich would probably be going to Europe. Sharona were highly linked with him when they. So it's the fact that Swansea have been able to get him and actually have convinced him to drop Ipswich, a parachute team, a year one parachute team, to go down to Swansea, I think is a really impressive signing. And actually, if that's a direct Harry Darling replacement, who they've let go for free, which would be a bit disappointing, that's actually not a bad fit. I know Cameron Burgess left third, Harry Darling right third, but I think that's a nice replacement. So the business Swansea have done, I think, has actually been really impressive, and yeah, they're on my shortlist. Team number 2 we'll be looking at is Norwich City, who yet again have been making some serious moves in the Championship, and after a disappointing campaign last time round, certainly backed new head coach Liam Manning, and look really well set, and will be adding shortly to already a pretty decent looking squad. All with Norwich, all the caveat is Saints are still there, Sargent's still there, Nunez, certain maybe a little bit of a drop down, he's still there as well. So there is still two very, very saleable assets still there who have been linked with moves away from Norwich, which might be bringing the money in, which can facilitate all of this transfer business incoming for Norwich, which has to be talked about and that has to be all caveated. But the transfer spend so far has been pretty hefty, 7.2 million euros, says a transfer mark. So there have been some movements in. Obviously, that has to be caveated. Jacob Wright has been turned into a permanent. That's a really good signing. A real revamp in the goalkeeping department, which was needed, especially after Angus Gunn left. He couldn't stay fit, could he, Angus Gunn? But the goalkeeping department they were left with just wasn't up to scratch. So Kovacevic has come in. Dan Grimshaw, obviously we know him from Plymouth, and Molden has come in as well. So Kovacevic was the one that is probably going to be the one that starts for Norwich and for Manning. The one signing, though, who we know quite well from the Championship, is Harry Darling, and they've picked him up on a free. Obviously, worked with Manning before at MK Dons, a really good Championship player, very good on the ball, fits Norwich's system, I think, really well, and will fit Liam Manning's system really well as well. So that's a really good signing, especially on a free transfer. And I think Norwich have done really well to maybe outcompete some of the teams right at the top of this division to get Harry Darling in. Jakov Medic has also been brought in for a significant amount of money from Ajax, who, will probably be playing alongside Harry Darling in central defence. The one signing, though, which has not been confirmed yet, so we are in a little bit of rumour land, but someone who looks like will be coming in, and there's a lot of money being spent on him, is Matthias, and here we go, Kvistgarden, who looks like he'll be set to join Norwich. £6.9 million release clause that has been triggered. So, on top of the €7.2 million that's already been spent, reportedly, add that on, and that is going to be some sort of transfer spend from Norwich. So, they're definitely backing Liam Manning, but things are still a bit of a waiting game in terms of Saints and Sargent in particular, in terms of who will go out. But they're planning ahead and they're planning ahead everything really nicely. So, yeah, really impressed with Norwich. They're utilising the continental market again, which they always sort of do, and they will find some really good players in there. And yeah, I think you just trust Norwich at Championship level to sort of just make things happen and just sign some really good players, whether that's in England or abroad. And this summer doesn't feel any different. The final team we'll be talking about in this video in detail is obviously going to be Birmingham City. I mean, the transfers, the signings, the ambition has been absolutely breathtaking, actually, and has been really exciting to watch. And Birmingham have pulled some brilliant moves so far, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be an exciting rest of the summer as well for Blues fans. I'll list all the signings they've made so far. All the sort of big signings. Taylor Garn-Hickman's obviously been made into a permanent. Obviously, former Bristol City player. Good luck to him. Kyogo has come in. We'll talk about him in a little bit. Damari Gray has come in. We'll talk about him in a little bit. Tommy Doyle has come in. Talk about him in a little bit. Phil Newman has been brought in. Bryce Samuel has been brought in. Talk about him in a little bit. James Pedal has been brought in. Talk about him in a little bit. And Kanya Fujimoto, who I don't really know much about, and I don't really know much about Phil Newman either. So, that is 7, I think. It's 8, including Taylor Garn-Hickman, that have been brought in, to Birmingham. And I have to say, just looking at it, it's just, wow. I would kill. And, you'll see a lot of reaction around Birmingham and stuff like that on social media. But I think mine is certainly one of, I would love something like that, sort of transfer window to start like that for us. The ambition, obviously, you've got to talk about the money, and that is a massive part of all of this. But I think the ambition shown by Blues and has just been fantastic and set them up really nicely for the rest of the Championship. We'll start with Kyogo, who has been brilliant for Celtic, superstar for Celtic, and didn't work out in France, but has come back into the Championship. It looks like he'll be a brilliant signing in England. Damari Gray has come back to Birmingham. He did really well at Everton, didn't he? before going off to Saudi. And if he can possess even half of the quality that he showed at Everton for proportions of it, well, Birmingham will have a really good player. Tommy Doyle is someone that has been brilliant in the Championship before with Sheffield United, with Cardiff, if I'm not mistaken, and has had some really good loan spells in the division before. Obviously, went to Wolves as part of that Mateus Nunes deal, where he went to City, didn't he? Uh, Honestly, I think he's a Premier League low sort of Premier League quality player, and yeah, I think this is a signing that's if a Championship club was going to sign Doyle, I'd have thought it would have been one of the top three: Ipswich, Southampton, Leicester, or Sheffield United. In fact, Birmingham pulled him is quite incredible. Phil Newman, centre back, highly rated on a free transfer. That looks like a good one. Brighter Samuel is someone who was absolutely brilliant for QPR. Got a big move to Fenerbahce and has come back and is now a seasoned professional and is now surely should have more than enough quality to attack the Championship. James Beadle is a goalkeeper who been part of the Brighton system, been pretty good at Sheffield Wednesday, a couple of clangers, but apart from that, relatively consistent for Wednesday. And yeah, looks like a pretty decent signing. Is he an upgrade on Ryan Allsop? We will find out, won't we? So those are at least 5 signings in there who I really like. And Taylor Hickman was there with them last season, and I really like him, and I think he's actually a pretty decent, solid player. And for Birmingham, he'll probably be one down from the starting 11, and I think that's a pretty decent position for TGH to be in. So a lot of good signings, a lot of ambition, a lot of money spent. Kyogo in particular, £9 million or something like that, somewhere in that region. That's a lot of money. But Birmingham, well, yeah, I think have been fantastic in the transfer window so far, and you'd expect a lot more to be happening there as well. These are all players, most of them, who I think are going to be coming into the team straight away, and they're not like 20, 21, 22, they're 27 and up, and are going to be coming in right into the team, and they've spent a lot of money on them on wages or on transfer fees, and they'll be looking to make a straight impact straight in. And if anything, this sort of solidifies the idea that Blues and Tom Wagner, Knighthead, look like they want to be going for that back-to-back promotion straight into the Premier League. That is my 3-team strong shortlist. I think an honourable mention does go to Derby County, who I think have been making some nice moves in there as well. Vyman and Bath, two good players, and Andy Vyman obviously very well known to myself. That's a bit of a homecoming for him. Back to Derby, and both of them follow John Eustace from Blackburn to Derby, bring a lot of experience, a lot of wealth of quality as well. So I think it's a good pair of signings for Derby for them, and good news for them. Carlton Morris, I think, is a really good signing and would have been relatively cheap compared to what they would have paid maybe 12 months ago for Carlton Morris. Significant sort of drop in quality, especially after Luton's back-to-back relegations. I think will provide nice experience and quality in those division. I think will fit into John Eustace's system nicely. Patrick Agyemang is someone who's not been officially confirmed, but looks like Derby will be signing him, and that looks like a hell of a lot of money coming in. Hell of a lot of money being spent for him as well. So that's a big sign of investment, big sign of intent, and yeah, the USA International looks like he'll be coming in. I think Derby's business just drops maybe a little bit high below the top 3, which are Norwich, Swansea, and Birmingham as my top 3. We'll be ranking them, and we'll do that right now. In number 3, and I've been flittering between the team in 3rd and the team in 2nd. I think there's a clear standout in number 1, which we'll come on to in a little bit. But the team in 3rd, who I've been flirting with, is Swansea, who I think, as I mentioned at the start, made some really good signings, done some really good business, and have been pretty good, actually. And yeah, have been really good in the transfer market so far. You'd expect maybe a little bit more to come in over there as well. Number 2, Norwich. I think the whole summer has to be taken into account over there. They've not lost Sainz Sargent yet, but even if that does happen, they look like they're pretty well stocked to go again. A couple more in, I think, for Norwich, and I think they'll be well ready to go under Liam Manning. Number 1, I think, is a clear standout, and pretty much above everyone else in this division is Birmingham. They've been absolutely fantastic, and for their fans, and yeah, they'll be really excited by what they are seeing at the moment. And there might well be more coming in at Blues as well. So they're going to be a real nuisance to teams like us who lost out in the playoffs. Hopefully, there's an expectation, not an expectation. It's a hope we'll be right there near the division, up near the top of the division again. Birmingham are going to be coming in there, and we're looking to displace a couple of those teams. But yeah, that is it. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you have enjoyed the video, hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on the summer transfer business so far. It feels like a lot more teams have been sort of going for it, and a lot more money's being spent by teams maybe just below the parachute line and stuff like that. As I mentioned, Swansea, a lot of money for Inusa, Norwich, a lot of money for Fistgarden. That's going to be a horrible one for me to pronounce. But yeah, so looks like a lot of Derby, obviously, Patrick Aguirre, whatever. But yeah, it looks like a little bit more money being spent from the non-parachute teams in the championship, which is good to see. A little bit of ambition shown across the championship. But yeah, let me know your top three, maybe even the top four, maybe even the top five, maybe even the top six. Your teams and teams I haven't mentioned as well. Get them in the comment section down below. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Keep safe, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.